No, 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 no. No. No.
Let him go. Let him go.
Where are you going?
I was driving back to my home over on Quimby Street, looking for my son who got locked out the house. And when I turned the corner, he was being approached by two officers. So I yelled out the window, "Hey, that's my son. I got him." And as I was talking to the male officer, my son, who was sitting there just casually as a lamb,
Thank God.
leaped up like a lion and attacked the female officer. At that particular point, the male officer went to engage him, and I followed him and went to engage him. And I just couldn't believe what was happening out here. We were able to get him, he had wrapped himself like a python around the lady, and I kept telling him, "You're going to die here, man. You're going to die today." Another thing that this lieutenant said to me, as I was getting ready to leave, he looked at me and he said this. He said, "Be well." And when he said "be well" to me, there was such a profound feeling of love there. So I'm telling you out there to be well and to take care of your people.
And I know that our officers who were on the call that day, they're glad you were there and stepped in. Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, personally, I want to say I love you guys. And I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry it happened, not with just me, with my child, but all the things that are going on in this world right now. And I thank you for being strong and courageous and not doing what you should have done, probably, was shot that kid. I thank you for that. And just be well. Like the lieutenant told me, be well.
Emotional father there. And tonight we are asking our law enforcement experts, how difficult is it to stay calm under what was really just awful circumstances? Let me begin with you, Dr. Taylor.
Certainly. It's just a part of the job. You have to have that situational awareness. You have to constantly be assessing the situation as it unfolds. Here you have a burglary suspect who goes from sitting on the ground to actively attacking an officer and trying to grab her weapon, biting his father in the hand, and the officers were able to get the situation under control and get him under arrest without causing serious physical injury or death to the suspect. They did an outstanding job given the obstacles that they had to face, and you could see the father was very grateful for the officer's professionalism and bravery, frankly.
No question. And Donald, that has to be a father's worst nightmare. You know, in this day and time, you know, you have to call the police on your own son. You're hoping things go well. You're always afraid that they won't. The kid is acting out in really what looked like a psychotic way. But things turned out right here.
Yeah, I think that the father's very grateful that the police didn't do, as in his own words, you know, do what they could have done in this situation, because the officer was under attack. And I think that the law would have permitted her to use very serious force against him in defending herself or one of the other officers to get him off. So it was very professional. You know, when you go to the police academy, they teach you how to deal with stress. We used to call it the stress test. And police officers are trained to think cool under fire. So it's not a matter of them panicking. Unlike other people, when they're put in these situations, they're thinking and they're resorting to their training a lot like a professional athlete would, you know, when they're doing something at the split moment and they've got to make a decision. These officers right here responded accordingly. And I'm sure that the whole community is very proud of them for how they handled this situation. Absolutely. You can see how proud the father was and how grateful the father was that it was handled that way. But there was another variable, Dr. Taylor, that I want to bring up. The father says once he engaged with the police officer, he went over and engaged as well. Now, that can be problematic for police officers, right? They don't always know what that person, that third person, is trying to do. Here he was trying to help, but sometimes that's not the case.
Absolutely. The person who has some sort of connection or relationship with the individual they're trying to arrest may oftentimes try to defend the person from being arrested. And it's an unfortunate part of the work that police do, that you really have to be aware of everyone that is trying to get involved in the situation, even folks that are maybe trying to provoke by, yelling, from a crowd, that the officers are doing whatever that they're doing and they're not approving it. You have to be aware of everything and be prepared to call for help, and to definitely resolve the situation in the most professional way and efficient way as possible.
Yeah, no question. We talk about the kid being in danger there. I think the father was as well in getting involved. But I think, like you said, it's about reading the situation. They were able to understand that he was actually there to help them and try to help his son, not be a negative influence on that situation. So it turned out well, and we're all grateful for that.